Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman Lois Season 3, and this is going to be my review for Episode 5 of this season, otherwise entitled Head On. But of course, if you don't watch the episode, go away. Spoiler, what are you doing? Go away, because there's not too many spoilers in this episode, but at the end, there's a pretty big spoiler, so yeah, go away. But if you have watched the episode, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts, opinions, reactions, theories, predictions moving forward. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. Let me know down there in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, I want to show you support, enjoy the episode, drop a like on the video. Takes 2 seconds. So last episode was I guess most of the time was spent with John Henry, who is not in this episode at all. He took a break, and it was sort of him looking into his doppelganger's past, with this leading into a run-in with Bruno Mannheim. But at the end of the episode, we do see that Lois is sort of registering as a patient at Bruno Mannheim's clinic. That's the plan, so she can do some snooping. So this was asking for a run-in, but Bruno Mannheim also knows about it as well. It's nothing too hidden on either side. This episode was probably the most tame episode of the season outside of the ending. Really, it's a very character-based episode, spending time with the characters and sort of moving some of those minor plot lines ahead, or, you know, even wrapping up some as well. So a very tame episode. I'd say I don't want to say it's a bad episode, definitely wasn't. But in comparison to the other episodes happened this season, which were very good, a lot of stuff happening, this one definitely dialed it down a bit. But you need those sometimes. You need one of those episodes to just calm down a bit, you know, grab your breath, take a break, but also allow some things to happen and also leave a bit of a cliffhanger. And I wouldn't say the end of this episode is a bit of a cliffhanger. It's quite the big cliffhanger. But yeah, this was that episode, and I think, you know, you need it every now and then. Now, we start the episode off with a bit of a Jordan versus Candace moment without Candace really being involved. And I mean, this is sort of it sort of bookends the episode. You get Jordan sort of being annoyed that Candace is here and using up all the hot water and stuff. And then at the end, you get Candace saying goodbye to Jordan and calling him a good brother and everything like that. So yeah, it's not a major part of the episode. It's just a little thing to sort of bookend the episode, I guess, but it happens. But we do get Lois going to her first treatment at the new clinic, Hobbs Bay, where you can see immediately, you can just see the upgrade that it is to the previous one. But Lois immediately starts plotting her snooping that she's going to be doing around the center to find out certain things about Bruno Mannheim and certain files, with Clark actually encountering some other patients who do relive their experiences and losses. And I think this would have been something that anyone that's maybe gone through this process as a bystander, not the person with the actual illness, I think, maybe talking to other people. Actually, you know, be either way, even if you had the illness, but talking to other people who maybe deeper in. And this was people here, they were all, you know, deeper in, or had also lost people that also had cancer as well, or other illnesses, might I say. So this is quite the emotional part of the episode, and I thought Tyler Hoechlin did a really good job there. But in regards to Lois, she does start her snooping, but she doesn't really get too far before running into Bruno Mannheim while she's in Dr. Hook's office, who, you know, Dr. Hook is, of course, the doctor that's been working with Bruno with the powered people. So it's not like Dr. Hook's a mysterious person who we haven't seen yet, who's oh, are they evil? Are they good? We know that he's been working with Bruno Mannheim, but, you know, he could pretty much be having a gun held to his head effectively in regards to having to do this for Bruno. But Bruno does take Lois on a tour of his a research facility, I think is probably the best way to call it, and sort of recounts his past and the lead up and the drive to do all this, with him, you know, agreeing to send Dr. Hook's files to Lois, where apparently there being nothing to hide. And, you know, his backstory in regards to why he's doing what he's doing makes sense, but you just know that, we've seen that Bruno Mannheim is up to some dodgy stuff. So in regards to those files, you know, you have to think he's going to tamper with them a bit, but there might be some sort of little breadcrumb that might lead Lois down a certain path, but it might be a path that Bruno Mannheim wants her to go down because it might distract her from the proper path to go down. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, Natalie does get a surprise visitor, which was in the synopsis as well, but this is in the form of Mateo from the Metropolis party, which isn't that much of a surprise. It sort of felt like it might be Mateo. He's just showed up at Smallville for the day, and Sam Lane isn't, I don't want to say, I guess overly happy. He's sort of suspicious of Mateo, but Mateo does actually attend this Valentine dance that's going on in the city with Natalie, and it's for Smallville High. However, it's not at the school because there is still that mold issue, so it's at some random, I guess, hall, if you want to put it in Smallville. Now, at the dance, we do have Mateo trying to kiss Natalie, and she sort of freaks out because it's all new to her. And the talk with her and Sam was well done, I think. But along with this, at the dance, Candace does tell Jonathan that her aunt has agreed to let her move in. However, here's the stinger, It's a town that's around like 4 hours away, roughly, I think they said, which pretty much puts Jonathan in the exact same situation he was with his ex-girlfriend from Metropolis. I mean, if that didn't work out, well, this, and I guess it just depends on whether there's actually anything that great here. Now, at the end of the episode, which I sort of said earlier, Candace goes away, and it'll be interesting to see what the situation is there, but maybe this is a good way to allow Jonathan to not be in an episode if they don't need him there specifically. So they can just say, oh, he's gone to whatever that town was called, Topeka, whatever they called it. He's gone there, and that's him out for an episode. So maybe that's the way to work around it. I don't know. But there's also some stuff in the episode with Kyle offering him to sort of like work with the firefighting unit, and that sort of seems like it's going to happen. Which I wasn't expecting this with Jonathan. But then again, I guess it's a way to have him have a side storyline and also keep Kyle involved in a storyline as well at the same time. So probably not a bad idea. Now we do get the son of Mayor Dean, who was of course killed, or the former Mayor Dean, who was killed a few episodes ago by Onomatopoeia, and he is sort of like shifting blame towards Lana, with it being revealed that a bunch of people in Smallville are also sort of like side-eyeing Lana, if you want to put it, after the death of Mayor Dean and just the sus stuff going on there due to their political rivalry. Now, Mayor Dean's son and Sarah do end up talking at the dance, which leads to some drinking, some booze, but Lana walks in on this and isn't really happy, though it's mainly due to the alcohol, though also I think when Sarah sort of explains herself what's going on, Lana does turn around and understand. And I didn't know this was just like going to be like a random one-off episodic storyline or something that would lead into something bigger with, you know, some other people in Smallville against Lana showing up. But we do see Lana changing up her situation and her viewpoint on things and her just the way she's going to attack this with what she was planning with Chrissy, and instead decides to not go down the Mayor Dean route in like a negative route, but a more positive route, and naming the new town hall after Mayor Dean, which I think is the good way to do it and sort of like have some closure there, as Lana, I think, says throughout that segment of the episode. Now, throughout the episode, which was focused in the trailer as well, we did get this new powered person that's actually revealed to be Deadline from the comics, which is an actual character who has the power to phase, and they are being now used instead of Atom Man, and is sent to like the DoD by Bruno Mannheim, and as I said, has the ability to phase through objects and sort of has like some super strength there as well. Though Atom Man has been dumped in the river or something, towards the end of the episode you see him floating in the tank there as well, so he's not gone. But Deadline is also armed with some kryptonite-based weapons, so when you put the phasing there with the kryptonite-based weapons, it of course makes it a bit of a tricky person to deal with for Superman. And Superman does deal with him, but Deadline is able to get into the DoD's files and transfer them before Superman can do anything. So, bit of a W, bit of an L. Probably more of an L based off what we saw at the end of the episode and, you know, what a certain person got their certain hands on. Now, Lois does accept that other people's opinions in her journey are important and wants Clark to make sure, you know, that he does so, that he goes, you know, just doesn't let her go down this certain path and, you know, push herself too far, which is, she's trying to go to the dance in this episode and, you know, it's just not the right thing to do. It's not the smart thing to do, but she does miss out on that dance with the boys because she accepts, you know, what, you know, Clark's opinion on the whole matter. So when they get home, they do make their own like dance at home to form their own memories, I thought, which was a nice moment. Also just even the bit with the fact that Jordan apparently doesn't wash his hair too often and Lois noticed it. I thought that was pretty funny. But I am very interested to see how Lois is over the next few episodes, because you're seeing the chemo start to affect her quite early in. So I am wondering what the path is there, because, you know, in a lot of the trailer stuff leading up to the season was mostly for like the opening 3, maybe 4 episodes. But now we're dealing with the bit where she's properly going into that chemotherapy stuff. Like, is she going to lose her hair? Are they going to like, there was a bit in the episode when I think it was just before she like told Clark that she was going to listen to what he had to say, and she was playing with her hair and I wasn't too sure if she was going to pull out and there's going to be some like hair there on her hands. So I am wondering where they go with that. So wait and see. Like it depends. We don't know if this storyline goes all the way through to the finale, or maybe in like episode 7 or 8 there's something that happens, but you know, cancer just doesn't get fixed like that. So I don't know. I'm intrigued to see what the track going forward is with this. But as we see right at the end of the episode, we do find out that Deadline got access to a lot of the DoD's resources, which leads to Bruno Mannheim having them, or at least the people working with Bruno Mannheim. And right in front of Bruno Mannheim right now at the end of the episode and leading into what happens next is the corpse of Bizarro Superman, with Dr. Hook saying that, like, wow, it's just like Superman, just, you know, he's dead. And Bruno Mannheim makes sure to add, just for now. just for now, or for now, I think he says. So what the hell is going on here? Is this really like a Doomsday type situation? Is this more to get more blood, bringing back to looking at, we saw with like Adam Man, bringing back to life and everything like that. I'm very interested to see what happens here, because I don't know. I was not expecting, I don't think anyone was expecting, or at least most people weren't expecting, Bizarro's Superman to get brought back into this. So, because I didn't think we were like, how it's not like Bizarro Superman's body was just laying in a ditch or something out in the desert and easily, obtainable. So I'm very surprised with this. I'm very intrigued to see what happens next going forward. Is he just reanimated? Is it using him as like a seed for something else to grow from, like a Doomsday? Or is it mainly just to get blood and use him, pretty much milk the blood, if you want to put it, from Bizarro Superman, which in itself, you don't know what that's going to do. So this definitely opens up a can of worms, and I'm very intrigued to see where it goes, because I wasn't expecting it. Like when he showed up on screen, I was like, oh God, what the hell? So yeah, can't wait to see what they do there, but yeah, well, definitely wasn't expecting it. But yeah, overall, as I said, this episode was a bit of a tame one, but it definitely had, I think, the best cliffhanger of the season. I'd say it's probably the best cliffhanger that we've had this season. So then you sometimes get that. Sometimes I'll save those really big cliffhangers for a tame episode like this, because you're not really expecting it. You feel like, oh, it's just a bit of a, not really filler, but like on that level, sort of like a bit tamed or toned down. So yeah, definitely and this isn't a negative light, but probably the weakest episode of the season, but just because the first 4 episodes were so good and there was so much happening. But I think, as I said earlier in the video, you sort of need one of these episodes just to sort of take a breath, calm down a bit, and then you can move into the next stuff. And I think the cliffhanger for this episode definitely did a good job to get you excited for what's coming. Now, I'm not too sure. I'll probably confirm it when I do my trailer breakdown for episode 6, but I think there's a break after this episode. I'm not too sure if it's after this one or after episode 6. If they've done that and they've given us this cliffhanger and we take a break for a bit, they did a good one, because they teased us with Bizarro Superman. We have to wait multiple weeks, but I guess we'll confirm it with the episode 6 trailer breakdown, if they even released a trailer. I'm not too sure. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this episode. What are your thoughts on the Bizarro Superman stuff? Where do you think it's going? Any theories, any predictions? Let me know in the comments. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.